from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
A reckless driver caught on camera doing donuts, putting other drivers in danger. You'll see how this all finally ended.
A massive pothole eating up cars and forcing police to shut down access to the road. We'll show you the area to avoid.
But first, 4 Live radar showing rounds of rain parked over Metro Detroit for the next couple of days, and it is already causing some flooding troubles tonight. Thanks for staying up with us. This is the kind of weather pattern that we're used to seeing a little bit later on into the spring.
You're right, but because of its early arrival, the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for most of Metro Detroit. Ben Bailey is here tracking it all for us tonight. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Kim and Devin. Yeah, we're just in sort of the first period of this hockey-style rain event that we've got for 3 days, and we're just starting to get to those 1-inch totals right now for the last 24 hours. Bit of a breather from the rain, but look what we've got going on to the southwest of us over by Chicago. Plenty of thunderstorms right there in the end of Lake Michigan. This is all going to be sweeping through the southern end of the state, so we expect that rain's going to pick up in intensity overnight. We're going to see the heaviest of it probably around 2-3 o'clock in the morning, so likely we will be hearing some thunder. If you're in bed and you hear it at that hour, it'll be around for a while. We'll see that start to at least lose a little bit of intensity towards morning, as we see those showers go back to light to moderate, but still adding to those totals. And that really becomes an issue once we get towards Wednesday. So the 3-day totals anywhere between 1 and 3 inches. Could see a couple spots that hit 4, may not be exactly in that spot. That's where the model's putting it right now, but that's why that watch is up for the entire area through Wednesday afternoon. Otherwise, temperatures the other big story. Tomorrow, we'll move from the mid-50s in the morning to the 60s in the afternoon and likely setting a record high. Will it be the only time we do that? We'll check out your 7-day forecast coming up. Guys.
Rising water is already causing trouble on the roads in Grosse Pointe Shores.
And Tim Pamplin has the night cam near the Milk River.
I'm on the Grosse Pointe Shores, St. Clair Shores border. This is where Jefferson turns into Lake Shore Road. Well, it looks like the lake has come ashore here. That driver had the right idea. Backing up, not going through that water. Off in the distance there, you see some Macomb County workers. They're heading over to the floodgates. The Milk River is what's crested here and has burst its banks, sending water down onto Jefferson and Lake Shore Road here. Again, the floodgates will be open shortly, allowing the Milk River to flow freely into Lake St. Clair. That is the scene right now in Grosse Pointe Shores. With a night cam, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim. A pothole nightmare, meanwhile, on I-94 tonight ends with state police shutting down the ramp to the freeway from 10 Mile. 15 cars were seriously damaged and littered on the side of the road. Mara McDonald live along 94 in St. Clair Shores. What a mess, Mara.
Devin, a mess, and a dangerous one at that. This whole area is finally cleaned up right now. State police finally have the ramp open, but it has been a long night out here with a whole lot of damage.
Car after car sitting along 94 waiting for a tow or attempting a tire fix. At the base of the 10-mile ramp onto I-94 East, a series of giant, deep potholes opening up, and our day-long rain had them well filled so drivers couldn't see what they were in for until it was too late.
It was the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life. And so the 4 of us are pulled over, and, we're all like, are you guys okay, and things like that. And then I'm calling my roadside assistant, and as I'm doing that, 4 more people hit it. And I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I need to call the police. They need to, close this ramp off. I was like, it's going to get piled up.
She did call the police, and it did get piled up. 15 cars not drivable after being eaten by the potholes. State police rolled in and realized they had a serious problem on their hands. Closed down the ramp and called MDOT. A patching truck came out to fill up the holes, but to say that's temporary is being kind. The patches don't work unless it's dry, and today and tomorrow are supposed to be anything but. It took hours to get everybody towed off the freeway, and the damage is extensive. We're not just talking new tires.
My tire was obliterated, and my rim is it's shot. It's destroyed.
Back here live, I think we can all expect a whole lot more of that. You heard Ben's forecast. We've got more rain coming, the warm temperatures. You can practically see the pavement starting to disintegrate. And at night, when those holes are all filled up with water, as you saw tonight, 15 people had no idea they were driving right into something that was going to do considerable damage. We are live in St. Clair Shores tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara. Well, this is no movie stunt. A reckless driver puts others at risk while doing donuts and swerving in and out of traffic on 8 Mile Road along the Detroit-Warren border. Jermont Terry is live tonight with the video and how this ended. Jermont?
Kimberly, a lot goes on down 8 Mile, but what played out in broad daylight left not only drivers, but the people standing on the sidewalk in danger. Thankfully, the woman who caused this ruckus, she and doing all these donuts, not to mention going the wrong way, tonight we know she's being evaluated. Most drivers are used to dodging potholes along 8 Mile, but Monday afternoon they tried getting out of the way of this black Chrysler 300. Take a look. The woman first bust this U-turn in the middle of the eastbound lanes, then backed into a car. She stopped traffic and continued down the street toward Mound.
This is something like you wouldn't see even a movie.
She sped down the street, then decided to reverse right in front of an oncoming semi. And watch as she continued doing circles in the middle of 8 Mile. All the while, drivers tried their best to get out of her way.
She almost hit a UPS truck.
Others became tired of waiting, and you can see the black Chrysler had no regard for anyone.
You know, she acted like she was on the street by herself.
The 300 then jumps the curb and runs over the yellow parking stoppers and the nearby parking lot. She then goes the wrong way.
She hit 2 different cars on the other side of 8 Mile. Then she came on this side and she ran into oncoming traffic.
Before Warren police arrived, they say the woman hit close to a half-dozen cars they know of. Once she hits westbound 8 Mile, she slammed into this SUV with a family. But the man in the SUV kept her from running. She tried getting away barefoot.
My kids are in the car. You're not going nowhere, baby. Sit down.
It's unclear if this woman was on drugs or was off her medication.
Whoever is her caregiver needs to take better care of her. You know, they need to make sure she takes that medication, because if that's the result, you know, she could have hurt a lot of people.
And if she's just doing drugs, then...
yes, they need to take her off the street.
And tonight, pieces of that car still litters the sidewalk. Warren police telling us that they took that woman driving to be checked out to determine exactly what was in her system, because it's very clear she was not in her right mind. Thankfully, she didn't kill anyone out here. Reporting live along 8 Mile tonight, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
Jermont. Well, all across Florida tonight, candlelight and tears. PTA organized vigils across the state to remember 14 students and 3 staff members who lost their lives in the nation's awful school shooting last week. The organization wanted to give students and parents a chance to grieve and express their feelings and emotions. 25 schools, in fact, held vigils to honor the lives lost.
There will be an increased police presence tomorrow at Marine City Middle School. Police are investigating a threatening tweet targeting the school's principal. They have not yet tracked down who tweeted the threat, but the police chief says the department and the district are doing everything they can to ensure the safety of students and staff.
Searching for justice. Crime Stoppers hoping some surveillance video will help track down a murder suspect. Aaron Beasley was murdered on October 25th in Detroit. Suspect seen here is from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He allegedly shot and killed Beasley during a robbery. And Crime Stoppers offering now a $2,500 reward for information that leads to an arrest. If you've got any information, you can remain anonymous, but call 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
A scary moment for a Lapeer County couple when a drunk driver slams into their home. These are images of the damaged house on Fostoria Road. The driver says he was trying to avoid deer in the road when he crashed into the house. Police say he slammed into the homeowner's bedroom where they were asleep. Fortunately, the homeowners were not hurt. Police arrested the driver on suspicion of drunk driving.
Someone is about to miss out on a lot of cash. An unclaimed Powerball ticket worth $50,000 is set to expire. It was sold at a Speedway gas station in New Baltimore. We know that. The winner needs to claim the ticket by tomorrow evening. Surprisingly, a fair amount of winning lottery tickets do actually go unclaimed every year. Just last year alone, unclaimed lottery tickets totaled $34 million.
Former Chief White House photographer Pete Souza was at the Henry Ford tonight sharing stories of his iconic photographs. Souza shared photos of his time as photographer to President Obama. He discussed many of his iconic pictures, including the one of President Obama giving his wife, First Lady Michelle Obama, his jacket during his inauguration ball.
Then that night, in a freight elevator with Michelle going from one inaugural ball to another, you can tell it was cold. And the elevator, so took his jacket off, threw over Michelle's shoulders, and then they shared this semi-private moment as the staff and Secret Service tried
Souza also shared behind-the-scene photos and stories during his time as White House photographer to President Reagan.
Very sad news this evening. Longtime Detroit media personality Cliff Russell has died. He worked as a news anchor, political analyst, sports commentator, and a columnist in the Detroit area for more than 35 years. In 1994, he became Detroit's first African-American press secretary, appointed by former Mayor Dennis Archer. More recently working at 9:10 a.m. and a friend to everybody who knew Cliff Russell. He was just 61 years old, dead of a heart attack, and we are going to miss him terribly.
Tremendous loss for our community indeed. If you thought you had a bad day at work, wait until you see this. Window washers get stranded on a high rise and rescuers decide the only way is up.
Also chaos on a cruise when a brawl breaks out so bad nearly 24 people were kicked off the ship.
But first, if they're going to be the next Olympians, they have to put in the work.
Well, like everyone, the dream is Olympics, and it's getting there that's the tough part, but it's putting in the work that will hopefully let you succeed.
You'll meet a young girl who moved to Metro Detroit just to train for figure skating. Next.
I'm a believer that anything is possible. I got a vision and I'm gonna make it true.
Find your morning moment here. It's Product Test Week on Local 4 News Today. See which inventive items get the gold and which failed to perform. Tomorrow, do these as seen on TV products live up to the hype? From cooling covers to memory foam filling, these pillows promise a better night's sleep. But can they really help you catch some Z's? The moment you wake up, turn to Local 4 News Today.
I'm Olympic gold.
Well, make no mistake about it, no matter how easy they make it look, Olympians have trained most of their lives to make it to the big stage.
It's easy to forget that when we just watch them in these big moments, but they all had to start somewhere. Jamie Edmonds has a look at the next generation of Olympic skaters.
Of course, you have the Olympians, and then you have those Olympic hopefuls, and then below that you have all the dreamers to hope to one day make it to that level. Well, I came to the Detroit Skating Club to talk with a few kids who have some really big dreams. Every day but Wednesday and Sunday, you can find 7-year-old Amelia Nemirovsky on the ice practicing. 9-year-old Emily Rosenberg is here 4 days a week. And as for 10-year-old Lexi Lang,
I skate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's 6 days a week for those of you counting. 16-year-old Samantha Lang is more advanced in her skating career, and it shows in her work ethic.
Total, that's about 3 hours a day, times 6 is 18 hours a week.
Everyone, from the littlest skaters on up, know this sport requires lots and lots of practice, and that's okay with them.
I like it just because it's hard work and it's really fun to do. It's hard work, but my grandma got me into this, and now I really like ice skating.
So why do it? Easy answer, for the dream. The same dream that seems to be inside each and every one of them.
I want to be an Olympian.
When you go to sleep at night and put your head on your pillow, what do you dream that you're going to become?
An Olympic champion.
With the gold medal around your neck?
Yeah.
The Olympics, the ultimate goal for any figure skater. It's why Lang moved here from Houston to train at the Detroit Skating Club 4 years ago.
Well, like everyone, the dream is Olympics, and it's getting there that's the tough part.
How about if you guys do just like a pivot into...
Julie Berlin is a former skater and current coach.
You know, you ask these kids when you start teaching them, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go to the Olympics. Some of them think you can sign up for it.
Truth is, there's no sign-up sheet. It requires years and years of training and discipline and heartache and failing. And even then, there's no guarantee. But Berlin says all of that time isn't wasted, even if the kids don't make it to the Olympics.
Figure skating gives these kids so much more than just learning how to figure skate. They learn goals, discipline, motivation, planning, being in front of an audience, and they take their skating history and past into their future.
Take it from me, someone who skated. The lessons learned out on the ice go well beyond spins and jumps. But maybe, just maybe, all of the hard work could turn into something big. Somewhere big, with Olympic rings and medals on the line. That would be just fine with these dreamers.
Who wants to be normal when you can be anything extraordinary.
At the Detroit Skating Club, Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
Never know, we might be looking at one on the next Olympiad.
Somebody in there, and I love the curtain call that they all just got to do there. That's really great. Very nice. All right, let's bring in Ben, if we can find him through
the fog.
Is that you?
Where is he?
Looking out. I'm telling you, I mean, everything we see looks like spring.
Yeah, it really does.
The fog, the rain, the temperatures, I mean, it's all coming together. In fact, this snapshot, we usually only see these contrasts when we get closer to the change of seasons, but there is quite a difference between that 68 in St. Louis and then almost 40 degrees colder on the other side of the state, 29 in Kansas City. Of course, you see that cold air just bottled up there in the Dakotas, 4 in Bismarck. So quite a temperature contrast. And we'll be seeing some of that colder air once we get into Wednesday, but we've got a lot of rain and some mild temperatures. In fact, some record-setting numbers coming in the short term. We don't see any ice in the river, which is good because any ice that does flow from upstream could be jamming up the works and could make some flooding issues even worse outside of the melting snow and all the rain we're expecting. It is 56 degrees, almost midnight in February. Wind chill, obviously not an issue. Southwest winds right now at 10, but those winds have really started to scour out a lot of the fog. There's still a couple locations that are seeing some of that fog. Ann Arbor, Adrian, a couple of those locations, and maybe around Grosse Ile, but it's a lot better now, at least widespread, than it was earlier. This shot taken just after 6 o'clock. This is at Grosse Pointe Farms out over Lake St. Clair, and you can see the, as Kim said, the bridge into nowhere. It just kind of goes into nothing. But we saw a lot of those shots earlier this evening. May see a little bit of fog during the day, but we've got a whole mess of rain still backed up here across Illinois and Indiana. And as we showed you at the top of the show, those are thunderstorms right there at the foot of the Lake Michigan. Not anticipating anything severe, but probably going to be a little noisy at times overnight as those thunderstorms make their way here. And once that rain arrives, it looks like it's going to be with us for most of the day on Tuesday. Everything finally shuts off behind this cold front. We see the rain come to an end likely about 9 a.m., so fairly early on Wednesday. And at that point, we'll have 1 to 3 inches of rain on the ground. Maybe some spots upwards of 4 inches, but then you add that melting snow to it, and that's why we're really concerned about the flooding possibilities. Thursday, our next system, or a next system, stays south of us. Looks like we'll have another chance of getting wet shortly thereafter. So here's the bottom line of the rain. Now through noon Wednesday is what we're looking at. 1 to 3 inches total. Again, 4 is the outlying possibility. Likely going to be in our west or south zone if we see it. Minor river and creek flooding looks like it's going to be the biggest impacts, but could be your basement too. So make sure that that is as cleaned out and as ready to go as you can possibly make it. 58 tonight. That's not a low. That's what we'll start out with for morning temperatures. And then look at these highs tomorrow in your 4-zone forecast. 64 in the city, 65 at Romulus at the airport, and that will break a record, which is 63 if we get there. Mid-60s across our south zone. We'll be in the 60s also on the other side of 275. And in our north zone, you're going to have to settle for the upper 50s in Sanilac County. It's as good as you're going to get. But I think everybody will take it. And those numbers still mild as we get into next week, but paying very close attention to flooding concerns over the next 48 hours.
Exactly right. All right, Ben. Too close for comfort. The DNR says this is a baby cougar creeping up on a home. Doesn't make it any less terrifying, of course.
No, we'll have that. But first, nearly 24 people kicked off a Carnival cruise ship after a brawl breaks out. Next.
The Detroit.
A surprise for guests on a cruise ship when a brawl breaks out between passengers. 23 of them were removed from a Carnival cruise. Cell phone video here shows a fight breaking out between passengers with security staff having to get involved. The company is still investigating. According to the company, the members removed were part of the same family.
Well, here's a pretty bad day at work. 2 window washers in Florida find themselves suddenly dangling from their scaffolding. They were up near the 17th floor. Rather than trying to bring the men down, rescuers decided it was better to try to bring them up. They struggled to keep their footing as they scaled the building, but maybe I should call it a good day at work because they were able to make it to safety.
Homeowners in Wisconsin catch an unexpected visitor on camera. It's a cougar walking right up to their home. I'm talking about a real cougar here, not an older woman, as they say. You first see the cougar in the distance, and then it casually just walks closer to the home, even jumping up on the window to look inside. Look at it there. The homeowners called the Department of Natural Resources. Agents searched for the 50-pound cougar, but the trail went cold. They say the cougar is only about a year old.
I'll tweet out her email address for you later.
It was the perfect wedding day until it came time for the reception.
Yes, the bride was on her way to the celebration when the elevator broke down. Firefighters worked to get her out without ruining her dress. Keeping that in mind, it took 45 minutes, but rescuers finally got the elevator working again. But the bride missed the cocktail hour. However, we are told her new husband had a drink ready for her when she arrived. The least he could do.
They're going to be